My name's Angelo, and welcome to We Want Picks. This breakdown is brought to you by Premium Membership. Premium Membership brings you all sorts of betting and fantasy tools to help you make money. Things like exclusive 2, 3, and 4 leg parlays, betting calculators, parlay calculators, daily fantasy ownership projections, fighter salary rankings, and so much more. Check it out now at WeWantPicks.com. Scroll to the top and click Become a Member. And don't forget, we are giving away $50. All you need to do is go to WeWantPicks.com/bets, sign up with any one of our betting partners, make a deposit, and we send you $50 as a thank you. That's WeWantPicks.com/bets. Sign up, make a deposit, we send you $50. Next up at UFC Vegas 59, we have Terrance McKinney taking on Erick Gonzalez. Terrance McKinney, 12-4 overall, 4-1 in his last 5, and he is coming off that short notice loss to Drew Dober. Erick Gonzalez, 14-6 overall, 3-2 in his last 5, and he's coming off that knockout loss to Jim Miller. And Terrance McKinney is long, powerful, and he likes to fight at range. You'll see a bunch of knockouts on his record, but don't let those fool you because he's a very good wrestler. He's a JUCO All-American wrestler, and at this point, you guys know that Michael Chiesa used to be his high school wrestling coach, which means nothing as far as skill is concerned because Michael Chiesa's a high school wrestling coach, right? But it's just a cool fact. He's a much better wrestler than Chiesa is, and he's coming off that disappointing loss to Drew Dober, but you can't just look at the L on Tapology and say, oh, he lost to Drew Dober, because he decimated Drew Dober. He dropped him, I think officially 1 time, but it looked like 4 if you watch the fight, and it was just what Drew Dober survived in that fight. I mean,
it's even more impressive after you watch the shot that he ate his last fight versus Rafael. Jesus Christ, that shot was crazy.
I mean, we all know Drew Dober has a chin, and Terrance McKinney absolutely tested it. And leaving that fight, I respected Drew Dober more for like, holy crap, that dude's tough. But also, I respected Terrance McKinney more. Because it was like, look what he just did to the most durable guy on the planet. And Terrance McKinney did it on short notice immediately after a fight. So if that dude had a full camp and showed up like that, because he only lost because he gassed. If he didn't gas and just kept pouring it on, that's it. That fight stopped. So anyway, Terrance McKinney coming off that loss, but looked incredible doing it, if that makes any sense. Erick Gonzalez is a long striker. He does use range really well, and he likes to pick you apart at distance and keep you there. He likes to use front legs and teep kicks to do that. He will take 2 steps backwards, then lean forward and just throw long jabs. If he can manage that range the whole time, he can pick people apart. But if you close the distance and get him uncomfortable, he doesn't have an answer. Erick's coming off that knockout loss to Jim Miller, and the bookies have definitely decided if you lose to Jim Miller, you're definitely going to lose to Terrance McKinney because he's a plus 600 underdog. But what I will say, this line tightened. It tightened just a little bit. Terrance ballooned all the way up to a minus 1,000. Now he's come back down.
It's minus 1,000 right now.
I did this graphic 2 hours ago. It was minus 850.
Well, I'm looking at it right now. It's minus 1,000.
Well, then it's yo-yoing. It probably gets to that 1,000, and then people bet on Gonzalez because on Sunday, Gonzalez was a plus 675 favorite, and now that has shrunk. Anyway, Terrance is coming off that TKO loss to Drew Dober, but it was insane that Drew Dober was able to survive that. There's no way Erick could survive that same onslaught. I expect Terrance to come out a little more reserved, right? He's coming off that as a bad loss for him. I think he's going to use a little more wrestling in this fight as well. So Terrance is absolutely the pick. He's not a parlay piece because these odds are just too ridiculous to throw him into a parlay. It's going to, it's just not going to do you any favors. But he's very explosive. He's absolutely fantastic. And I do like this fight to go a little longer because I think Terrance is going to come out a little slower, right? That's a bad loss, and I think he's going to be worried about it. But I think Terrance dominates and wins this fight. What do you think?
Well,
Jacob.
Speaking of going a little longer, I have the over 1.5 on this that I sent you.
Well, that's on the premium membership, so
yeah,
people got to go there to get it.
Yeah, I have the over 1.5 because that you alluded to it perfectly. You have Erick Gonzalez, the Ghost Pepper, which is one of the better nicknames I've ever heard in my life, the Ghost Pepper, got flatlined in his last fight, so he's probably going to come out a little tentative, doesn't want to get that chin tested right away. And then you have Terrance McKinney, who blew his load in the first round versus Drew Dober and got finished himself in the first round. So I 100% agree. I think that they're both coming out a little bit more tentative, and I hope that Terrance McKinney is able to show off a little bit more of who he is. And I know the flashy knockouts are fun and everyone knows him as that, but as you mentioned, very, very good wrestler, and I hope that he's able to showcase all of his skills in this matchup. I think this is the perfect matchup to get that done. You don't really need the first round knockout against a guy like Erick Gonzalez. I think you can wear him down and win it with all your abilities and showcase all those abilities, because eventually you're going to have to do that. You're not going to be able to finish everyone in the first round your entire career. Eventually you're going to have to grind out victories, and I think this is the perfect opportunity for Terrance McKinney to maybe shoot a takedown early, work the ground game. But Erick Gonzalez, I'll be honest with you, is a tough dude. You know how I love my Hawaiians. You know how I love my Mexicans. That nobody is tougher than the Hawaiians and the Mexicans. The Ghost Pepper is going to be there. If he was not flatline knocked out, and that was a bad KO to Jim Miller. He actually was looking good in that Jim Miller fight. He had a nice takedown in the first round. Had Jim Miller hurt in the first round. I think he was a big underdog in that fight too, like a minus 300, minus 400. Jim Miller was the favorite of that fight. And had Jim Miller in some big, big trouble. But Jim Miller, when he landed that shot, Erick Gonzalez was out cold. So I think he's a little bit tentative. I hope that chin holds up and he's able to put on a performance, because I think he's a tough dude with good experience and it's going to be a little bit better than people expect. The minus 1,000 I think is a little bit crazy, but Terrance McKinney obviously is the better fighter overall in this matchup. He should get the job done, but I took the over 1.5 because I think he plays it safe. Obviously Eric, after the big KO, plays a little bit safe, and I think this goes a little bit. So I'm relying on the toughness of Eric for my bet, and I think he's tough enough to withstand, 5.5 minutes of Terrance McKinney, which most people have not, and I don't think I could either. What I mean?
Yeah, we know. We know. I agree. Somebody in the live chat said, Angelo, so do you not trust Terrance? No, I trust Terrance McKinney. Terrance McKinney will win this fight. My point is, I think it goes a little longer, like we just talked about. And when you parlay fighters, you don't want to parlay minus 850 fighters, because that, you'll take him and then what, a minus 300?
Especially one that just got finished in the first round of his last fight.
Yeah, you just don't bet those lines. Like you don't parlay it. You don't parlay it, you don't bet it, because it is going to drag down your parlay. Like, for example, if you liked 2 minus 200 fighters, you're going to get some really good odds on that. You got a minus 200, a minus 850. Those odds suck, and it's just not worth what you'd have to risk to make it worthwhile. So we both like Terrance McKinney here. I do think it goes a little longer. I don't know if I'm going to do the over 1.5. I'll look at it, but I think that's probably a safe bet. Like you said, both these guys coming off knockouts, both of them might be a little, hey, before I start winging punches, let's see what happens. And Mr.
Especially
D,
because it's not like the power of the pay-per-view, right? They're going to be at the apex. It's going to be nice and slow, nice and calm. They can kind of ease into it. It's not going to be that big adrenaline rush of, the crowd and everything. So
yeah. So we're both on the same there. I do think more and more on Monkey Knife Fight is the way to go here. 39 strikes to 18. Listen, let's look at Terrance McKinney's. Terrance McKinney's a pretty busy striker, landing 4 significant, and that's significant strikes per minute. 4. And the 39 is total strikes, not just significant. So I do think it's a more and more on Monkey Knife Fight. 18 is an embarrassing low number. So I think more and more there. If you want to go give that a shot, go to
Be careful betting against the toughness of Mexicans and underdog rules is what I'll say.
Yeah, well, I just said I'm not placing a bet on Terrance McKinney at those odds.
I was just speaking in general, telling the chat, be careful. Be careful.
I can't wait till you do your lock of the week video and at least half the people will be like, my lock is Terrance McKinney. Even though your lock of the week is as an underdog. Inevitably, somebody comments with the biggest favorite on the card.
Yeah, who was it last week? Oh, that young kid, Morales or whatever. Someone's like, the lock is Michael Morales. It's like, okay, good call.
No shit, dummy. Yeah, that's not the point of this video. Anyway, weonpicks.com/MKF. They will instantly match your deposit and give it a try. I like the more and more on this line, and if you want $50, I will Cash App, PayPal, or Venmo you $50. All you need to do is go to weonpicks.com/bets. We have 5 partners. Jump into any one of them using our links, make a deposit, and I'll send you $50 as a thank you for supporting us and our partners.